So today I'm continuing to search for places to hike without the hordes of people that are trying to get outside during this coronavirus pandemic. So I wanted to remind you to search areas that you wouldn't normally search. I found a gem, and it starts off in this beautiful oak woodland, and I was here a week ago and only saw one other person, and that's pretty rare. Access is tough here. It's not well publicized. I was lucky enough to meet that one other person that was a plant genius, and he took me on a tour and identified some plants with me, which was very special and makes me appreciate this even more. So, you know, while we're stuck in our local areas, take a look around at things that you didn't look at before. You'd be surprised what you can find. This area where I'm at today, I did a little research, has 740 plants just in a few hundred acres. So it's kind of special. Excuse me, I got to climb a little fence here. Like I said, access isn't great, and that's what makes this area special. It's open, it's legal. This is run by BLM. It's pretty new, and it's got the county and BLM and a few other agencies kind of oversee this area together. And what's really special about this place is, you're going to see if you've come along on my hike, we're going to pass through several totally different zones of plants and appearance, and that is because of the soil types around here. There are a serpentine type soil. Right now I'm in kind of the traditional oak woodland Sierra foothill soil. So anybody that's been in the Sierra foothills, this looks very familiar. And then I'm going to go into what's called a gabbro. They call it the rescue soils. And it's a very unique soil. And because of that soil, there are some plants here that are endemic just to this area. There are 8 plants. I think like 4 or 5 of them are very rare in the whole state, but a few of them don't grow anywhere else in the world. They grow in this small little area. So because of that, it's kind of a fragile area. I want you to find your own hike, leave mine alone. Now, I don't want to publicize it too much, just because it is kind of fragile and they haven't really established trails and rules and patrols yet. So the closest hike I can suggest that's very similar to this is the Salmon Falls Bridge, where it goes over Folsom Lake, and you can hike all the way to the Corona Ranch on that trail. We're fairly close to that. So today on this trail, I'll show you the different plant zones. I'm looking for some plants just because there's tons of different species here that I never see, and it ends at a river, so stay tuned for that. This trip ends at the American River. It's about a 2.5 mile hike, 5 miles round trip, and the parking lot's empty. It's not really much of a parking lot, but again, if you look close to your neighborhood, you can find these amazing places. It's just gorgeous. So in a 1/4 mile from that last shot, now take a look around me. Totally different plant life, totally different environment. Certainly fire plays a part in what's out here too, but we're on this gabbro soil now, what they call the rescue soil. And I'll show you a few things about what makes this soil different. Some of these endangered plants only grow in this soil, which is one of the reasons they're here and nowhere else in the world. So quite fascinating. It's not the most beautiful area, but it is different, and the plant life is spectacular if you look around. So one of the ways to tell if you're on this gabbro soil, you'll see some granite, you'll see some color, these reds, you'll see some quartz, and it's different soils than the surrounding area. You see a lot of granite in there and a little bit of quartz. So it opens up the chance for these plants to grow. Manzanita loves these kind of areas where it's really hard to survive, but for a lot of these plants it is hard to survive, so they don't have a lot of competition. We don't have the invasive plants here because there's no roads or no access, so a lot of these aren't competing with a lot of things. So this is a ceanothus. I think this might be the one of the endangered ones, but you can tell by the really small leaves, and the blooms are a little smaller. Those are some bloomed out lupins down there, and there's just plant life everywhere. I learned all this from my friend Keith, who I met here last week, so thank you, Keith. That's a type of mule ear. We're looking for another mule ear, which I think I can find and show you later, that only grow here. These are a more common mule ear. I think that's buckbrush. Yeah, let's walk and see what we can find. All right, there's another hint as to where I'm at. That lake behind me, that's Folsom Lake. So I'm up in the hills above Folsom Lake, and there's not a soul around. Haven't seen a single person, and I don't expect to. So if you look around, you can find these little gems right in your backyard. This is 9 miles from my front door. I'd heard of it before, never bothered taking a look at it, and now I'm planning on doing a lot of hiking out here, mostly in the spring and fall, because in the summer it would be unbearably hot. It's hot today. I think it's supposed to get close to 90 today. I'm sweating already, and I think it's only like 10:30, but not bad for a 10-minute drive from my house. So there's a good vista of the Sierra behind me. That's on the far right is Pyramid Peak. Still got a little snow. It's what, April 27th, I think, something like that. So we're gonna drop down to the American River now. And you can see behind me all these red soils. Again, that's an indicator of these gabbro soils that have a lot of colors, because they were formed in magma form deep within the Earth's crust and rose and were eroded, and that's what's formed this unique soil. So it's not real common. That's why we have these plants that aren't real common. So I'm ready for a little dip in the river to cool down. It's warm, so stay tuned. All right, so it's not really a showy plant. This fine leaf plant right here, that's called, there's a little bit more right there, that's Eldorado bedstraw. Now, I know it's not exciting, but it only grows here, just in like a 10 square mile area, nowhere else in the world. So, pretty amazing. All right, we have another extremely rare plant here. It's not in bloom yet. It's easier, these are easier to identify when they're in flower. Here's the standard. There's a lot of varieties of mule ears. You can tell they're a little fuzzy. That's why they call them mule ears. Now these narrow leaf ones, these are the Eldorado mule ears. Again, endemic to this area and these soils, so you can't see these anywhere else. So I think it's amazing. So if you look down on your hikes, there's discoveries like these to be made. Pretty neat. All right, so we're almost to the river, but you didn't think we'd make it to the river before I talk about some trees. Here's another one of those microclimates I'm talking about. Those are ponderosa pines. We're at about 1,000-foot elevation, and black oaks in a totally different environment. Just in this little canyon, from the exposure, probably moisture availability, but pretty interesting. Next stop though, it's hot, I'm going to the river. Oh yeah. So a trip that ends at the river is pretty sweet, but this trip doesn't end at the river. It's only at the halfway point now. I gotta hike all the way back. It's like 90 degrees, but I'm gonna enjoy my time here. So thanks for coming along. All right, I see the trailhead. That was an excellent social distancing hike. Only saw one other hiker stupid enough to be out in 90-degree weather. Ended up hiking a little bit farther than I wanted to. Got lost twice. Hiked about 3 extra miles. That's what you gotta do when you're discovering new places. There's no trailhead markers whatsoever. So there's a lot of junctions, and now I know. So probably did about 9 miles. Great little hike. Got some exercise, and yeah, hopefully we hit the real trail soon, but this isn't too bad of a hike that I can do now close to my house. Oh, isn't that a beautiful sight when you see your car at the end of a hike? Anyway, thanks for watching. Happy trails. Stay hydrated. I need to follow my own advice. Thanks for watching.